Just doing circles.
You're fucking up, bud.
Welcome to the Everyday Autopilot podcast. I'm Justin, your host. With me is Stephen Jeffries.
Hello.
Kaitlin Reasons. And Matt and Cody from the Oblivion Archetype. How's it going, guys?
Hey, going wonderful.
Now, before we get into everything, I'm going to say it again. Cody, I'm really sorry I forgot your name.
And I'm just learning. I'm sorry.
No worries. We're making up for it now, so no worries there.
Because the Oblivion Archetype obviously released a very good new song called A Slow Burn. You guys can listen to it wherever the fuck you decide to listen to music at, and you probably should because it's really fucking good. How's that for a shameless plug? But like I did like a video reaction of the song, and I sent it to Matt, and he sent it to everybody else. And in the video, I was like, and their other guitarist whose name I can't fucking remember.
Yes. This is the highlight of it for me.
Like, I'm pretty sure you can see just like the look of just kind of horror on my face. It's like, oh fuck.
Oh no.
Well, Aaron was just excited that the bass got some credit.
I will always give bass credit in y'all's music because you guys just know how to make it come through just fucking right.
Oh,
I'll
really
pass it along to JD because he's still like, bass good? Is the bass bad? Is the bass too loud? Is the bass too beefy? Is the bass too high?
Yeah, all day, every day.
I'm like, it's the bass, dude. It's the bass.
So long as the song has like some fucking thump to it, I'll take it.
It's got to feel right.
Yeah, that's Aaron for you right there. That thunderous bass. Small
man, big sound.
The only man I know who is 4'8" that can make a sound that tall. Yes, I said a sound that tall. Sorry,
he got a deeper growl than me too. He doesn't get to show it off as much, but
now I've got to contest this. What about Trent? Is he 4'7" or 4'9"?
So we've reached the decision that Trent is omnipotent at this point, and we do not discuss him in matters of mere mortals.
Sounds good to me.
Height doesn't matter among the gods.
So go ahead, Stephen.
I was just gonna say something else about Trent just being like one of like the most huggable people alive. So
he is a teddy bear. I mean, if you hate him, you're a bad person.
Listen, if you like, okay, so I think only like two other people here are going to know who I'm talking about, but she's a Cincinnati musician named Sarah Tolley. Mm-hmm. And if anybody hates Sarah Tolley, I am hunting you the fuck down.
I will help you on that one.
I think all of Cincinnati will help on that as well.
All of Cincinnati, Louisville, pretty much everyone's going to be on your ass at that point.
I got no hate for anybody.
We're all nice people here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a few on the list out there somewhere, but
I mean, there might be one. I mean, I really do at some point in my life want to fist fight God.
As long as I can film it, it'd be great.
There's one orange dude I really haven't cared for the last little while, but I don't think I'll have to see his face again for a long time.
And isn't that's just the best feeling when you don't have to worry about that person?
Honestly, Steven, I think you could take him. Like, he gave me COVID and kidney stones the same week. I lived. You're good. You've got this.
Okay, so I've set out rules for it too. So, like, no omnipotent powers, obviously, because then it's just not a fair fight. 5 rounds, taped fists.
You think he looks like Shang Tsung?
Yes.
On that, you think he's
yes. And okay, so and also Dead Culture has to be playing the entire time. and I'm not saying like Dead Culture through like a loudspeaker. No, Dead Culture actually has to be there playing the whole
just
time.
Through the air, You said no powers, like
first comment. Oh,
Like I said, there will come a day where I fist fight God. I don't know if I'm gonna win, but I might, and that's all that matters.
I feel
Yeah.
like
You
besides
just have
that
to
culture,
do it.
I think Derailed should be playing too.
I'd pay at least $6 to see it.
$6 sounds.
You know what? That's what I was gonna charge for entry too. So,
Telling you, man, I'm a natural promoter.
and see, and that also includes a free beer. So
I know people who are in touch with him. I'll see what I can do.
sweet. Okay. I've still got time to, kind of like train up and shit so that when God catches these hands, he fucking catches these hands. So sorry for taking this off the rails so early. Justin, please continue.
It's fine. I don't want to take it off the rails because it just adds more to the whole conversation. Tonight's topic is for all of us musicians out there. And, we've all been in this thing called pandemic. So how have y'all coped this past year with everything going on, doing hiatus basically? Like, how have you all been writing music more or less or what?
More music, absolutely. I mean, obviously with shows kind of off the table, at least for now, like you gotta do something with that time, you gotta give the creative juices flowing in some way, somehow. So, like with the slow burn, for instance, that one came out super quick. We just had a bunch of ideas, all throwing ideas around, and that's what we came up with, and we have a bunch more we wrote, and it's been a good time, all things considered. Obviously, we'd love to be on stage.
Yeah.
But you do what you can, We even did a little like live stream thing, which was kind of fun for us. So, doing what we can.
So, fun fact. The last show that I saw before the world shut down was when you guys played at Cosmic Charlie's.
Yeah, that was the last show we did, and it was it was a weird one too because we knew it was kind of coming. It was like you could see the clouds on the horizon of COVID, and it was like, all right, well, let's do it and see what happens. And then they were pretty much right after that, everything shut down, and it's been a long time since I've had a few weeks off without having to do anything. So that was an interesting experience. But like Cody said, the whole thing is it's a unique challenge. And, every so often something comes around that changes the industry and how you have to interact with it. And those are not typically barriers or roadblocks. Those are opportunities because someone's going to figure out how to use that time in a productive way or in a way that no one else thought, shout out to Trivium for buying an airport hangar so that they could do professional shows and rent it out to do other things for a while. Like little things like that, you look and go, I can't afford an aircraft hangar. So what can I do? And, with Cody and JD writing a lot of stuff and just putting ideas down and Roger and me and Aaron spending time getting, lyrics and other add-ons and ideas together. It was a time that not a lot of bands get where, you're not focused on practicing to perform. You're focused on creating and taking some of the anxiety and some of the stress and putting it into something. And thankfully we're a metal band. So anxiety and stress is like the game, right? That's like the whole thing. Yeah. The music sounds anxious, then I think you're channeling it properly. So it's been really fun. And, like Cody said, we have a bunch of songs that are now finished that, I'm currently just writing vocals to. And it's kind of neat because we put an EP out last year and we're going to have hopefully another one out for the end of this year too. And that's a lot of progress, a lot of new stuff for us to put into shows. And I think too, it just kind of gives you that break from playing a lot to focus on what you're playing and what you're putting out for people. So you got to take the positive out of the negatives and focus on that.
Now, did you all take like any break at all, like from practice even this year, or just kept going on like normal?
The big thing is we Cody and JD live in Chicago because that's where, the Oblivion Archetype is based out of. Me, Roger, and Aaron live in Kentucky still. So practice oftentimes has been just really relying on our ability to get our parts down individually. Mm-hmm. We have practiced, I think, 3 times, not last year, ever.
Damn.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's pretty good.
So a lot of it, because I'm practicing, I'm throwing it on in my car and singing on the way to and from work, or, you know, and I know Cody and JD will get together, and Roger practices all the time, you know, so it's an issue of just staying on top of it. And then when you do get those practice hours, it's tightening up those things where you're playing with the live drummer or with Cody and Roger, just getting on the same page, with Aaron really sinking in with JD, and me just being, you know, a vocalist, so I can just lay down whatever. You don't know if it's wrong or not.
I agree with that.
Yeah. The best and worst job. We're the first to get criticized, but we're also the last to have to show up to practice.
That's pretty awesome.
Hey guys, don't worry about the lyrics for it. Why? It's like I'm not going to have them ready in time for the show, but no one's going to fucking notice anyway.
Hey, look, Korn did it at a festival. They played a song from, I think it was off of Issues before they ever had lyrics, and you can still find it. There's like Download or something. It was like, yeah, at that point I was like, man, if Jonathan Davis can get away with it, I can get away with it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Steven's done a few times for Synapse.
Oh, totally, dude. I'm not like the first time we played Swarm live, I couldn't remember a fucking word.
Hey, I was remembering the best part about Swarm is I was remembering the song as we were playing it. That's how new it was.
Oh, that's great.
But no, like I can agree with like the whole not practicing a lot thing, because we did one return show in 2019 and practiced one time beforehand, and I think during that one practice we only played for like an hour.
Yeah. Yep. It was actually one of our best shows after that too, which was
because we were just like, hey, fuck it, like this is just a one-off, and after this we're fucking putting 3 more bullets in its head and putting it back in the backyard and firing the fucking necromancer. So
yeah, no, I mean, sometimes you get over practice, and I think it's important to be good at your craft, because when you go and play live, like that's something you notice every show you go to. You know, you see bands performing, and it's like you can tell the ones that put effort into it and the ones that maybe don't practice as much or should practice more. But a lot of it is really the chemistry between the people, and it's you know, putting a lot of effort into doing your job. To channel the Bill Belichick for any of the sports fans here, yeah, you know, do your job, do really, really well at what you can control and what you do, and then just iron out the details when you're together, and that allows you to spend more time focused on, you know, writing and getting the things how you want them before you get to practice. And you know, then I think you're also not burnt out by the time you get to the show. You're still going to have energy. You're still going to have passion for the songs, unless you're JD and you're mixing them and you.
All right.
Never doing that again.
I don't think he's listened to a Slow Burn once. Like the day it came out, he was like, all right, never going to listen to this again, just because
because I've had to listen to it so fucking much.
3 months of mixing and mastering. And
I remember those days when I did it for my old band. I was like, don't want to do that ever again. Don't want to listen to this ever again.
You just want to perform it, and that's it. Like,
that's it.
No reason to go back.
Right. We've had our time with this song. We can just kind of let it do its own thing now.
It's like it's time for us to give it to everyone else at this point.
Exactly. It's new for everyone else. It's like the worst thing I've ever heard at this point.
You can speak everything. You're like, man, there's a weird snare hit there, and of course JD's like the bass tone, and I'm like, this is what it is. We can fix it forever, but if it's the crux of the artist, I guess, is that anything you have, you're going to find something to add on to or change indefinitely. You just have to get it to a point where you're going,
this is good.
This is what it is. You know?
You're always going to find something wrong with the work that you do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just because at that point you're overanalyzing it to fucking death, and it's like, well, I could change this one thing. No, you can't. Leave it alone.
Yep. It's done.
So
we work as a team pretty well, though. Like, we really go and bounce off each other. Like, the idea is we really look at it like a team, you know. So if I'm like, hey, I'm really not feeling this part, you know, and the other 4 guys are like, I think it sounds really good, I like that tone, then at that point I look at it and go, you know, if we just take this sample group of 5 people and we expand it to represent anyone that may listen to our music, cool, maybe 20% won't like this part, but clearly the other, you know, 80% do. So let's go with the group on it. You know, let's make it a team effort. And I think as long as you're not so stubborn that you won't budge on things, then I think it always ends up coming out better than worse.
I think if you let egos get out of the way of everything, it makes everything run a lot smoother anyway.
Agreed. Because you're a band. You're not a solo artist. That it's everyone's hard work. It's everyone's fingerprint, and
everyone has a say in what the final product should be.
And you have to work together, because if you don't, you're gonna make it sound worse. You're gonna end up not being able to work together either. People aren't gonna want to bring ideas they may not be sure about for fear of getting that backlash or something. And so you want to have kind of that open door kind of policy where whatever it is, bring it in. If it doesn't sound like what the rest of our stuff does, let's still work on it and see what we come up with. You're always growing and changing. Takes everyone to do that.
Yeah, I love how the sound kind of like naturally evolves too when you're working with other people. Like since we are so far away, I have a lot of time here to just kind of like write and just try to create something cool, and I'll create like a little demo of something and I'll send it to JD. And I'll be like, "Hey man, what do you think about this?" And he'll go, "That's pretty cool, but you know what? Let me like sit on it for a bit. Let me see like what I can add to it." And every time that happens, he always comes out with something awesome that I never would have thought of, or he changes something so subtly that it just improves the part tenfold. And I love that about collaborating.
I know every little demo I have is like very basic compared to what happens when everyone else gets their hands on their part of it. And you can see like how it just advances so much over 5 people. It's crazy to see how it does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Kaitlin, you have anything to add here?
No, you just kind of took the words out of my mouth. So.
I was noticing you've been a little quiet, but pulling a little me from last time.
Yeah, at least there were two people being quiet on the last one, but one of them I think was intentional. So
well, if we're gonna talk about Sandwich Jones here, he became my favorite person.
I fucking love Sandwich Jones, dude.
I do too. Like just meeting him that night was like, okay, this guy, he gets it. He's weird. I love it.
Well, let's both just sit here and watch Steve talk to Avanti.
I started following his moves here. I was like, okay, let's just be weird together.
Let's just kind of like gradually just scoot out of frame.
I was waiting for him to actually use like the green screen because we can actually do that here. And he had a green screen behind him and he didn't do anything with it.
I was hoping he would have just thrown up something fucking stupid.
I was expecting it.
You gotta have a hot dog as the background. That would be the one every time.
Everybody wins the hot dog.
Yeah, dude.
That's why I need a green screen.
I mean, we get it for like $80 on Best Buy, and I've been putting it off for a while. Mostly because Kaitlin will kill me for buying anything.
If there is anyone in this world I do not trust with a green screen, it's Stephen Jeffries.
And you are right for making that decision.
I mean, you can utilize it for test your metal really well, I think. But at the same time,
I could also use.
What kind of fucked up shit would you put on there just to mess with people?
I would be terrified. It would just be the cat's butt. Would be the background.
Just a butthole button screen.
Either that or like the like the heavy breakdown face that I make all the time. Just it would just be that face behind me 90% of the time.
No, just getting bigger, just getting bigger and smaller. Just slowly throughout the whole like recording.
And then every so often it would like freeze frame on my nose.
Like just off center just a little bit. And everyone's like, why that point?
Oh no, see, I mean, I wanna get one so I can use it like on my Twitch streams and stuff, but at the same time, I don't want my Twitch channel taken down. So because knowing somebody like me eventually, like the thing is I'm already like up to here with Twitch's bullshit. So like if they could push me a few more levels, I could get a green screen and just pop some titties up on it and see how long it takes for my account to get taken down.
You know what you can do? You can use the Oblivion Archetypes music.
I definitely fucking will, man.
If we ever figure out how to use it on here, we will.
We'll send you and rock on.
I've got because I've actually got like a playlist that I'm using for that. It's just stream tunes. It's just like a bunch of friends' music on it, whether they've told me to or not. I know they don't care.
Yeah.
But which is why I should probably tell you I've been using the Oblivion Archetypes music for a little bit now.
Well, we appreciate it. Yeah, use it whatever you want, man.
And plus, like, I listen to you guys all the fucking time, so it's a plus.
Oh,
like if you guys see just like a huge spike in Spotify numbers, like every so often, that's me. Occasionally, if you see Spotify spikes on Society's Plague, that's me.
There you go.
I'd say John Payne's got a little effect in that too. Every now and then I'll hear me coming out of the other room. And I'm like,
what the fuck? Which, on that note, like, spoiler alert for anyone who's in the Oblivion archetype, I am hopefully getting a video done this week for you guys. Right. But Matt, the entire other section I told you about won't be a part of it.
Okay.
Just because it would end up being like probably a 12-minute video, and probably 8 of that would be me talking about the other thing.
Yeah. No, that's cool. The other thing had a lot more time. So, and
plus I feel like if I devoted that much time, and I don't know why I'm saying the other, if I had devoted that much time to Society's Plague in the video, which I totally fucking could.
Yeah.
I feel like that would just completely undermine everything you guys are doing now. So I'm just gonna make a nice little ditty talking about the Oblivion archetype and how it's.
If you ever want to do a Society's Plague video, just make a different one for that.
Dude, that's probably what I'm gonna do. But I mean,
I almost feel like it's necessary in a way.
I totally will do like a completely separate one about him because it's on my list of videos to do. But yeah, like I just want to do like a nice little 7 or 8 minute video talking about the EP and talking about how you guys are rad. So
yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things where you're not going to get around it. When you have four members that are from a band, that has played, especially in the scene here, for just a long time, it kind of becomes intertwined. And for me, it's 2 separate things for sure, but without one, there wouldn't be the other. So a lot of what makes it work is the chemistry that a couple of us have built together. Because Aaron's really new as well. Me, JD, and Roger have been playing together for
10 years,
probably almost 15 years. Yeah, like just a long time. And so for that, it makes it a lot easier for Aaron and for Cody to jump in and go, all right, you guys have this little nucleus foundation of like a song, and it allows him to quickly pick up. And of course, Cody has played with JD for a couple of years in Astillion. So,
which, real quick, Astillion is fucking rad too. Astillion is Viking metal, and it's all the ham in the world, and I fucking love it. So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, which I mean, because when we were talking about this, a lot of it had to do with not like any bad blood or anything with anyone in SP or anything like that. It's just priorities change as you get older and do stuff. And Joe kind of got to a point where he wanted to kind of just really focus on. He just got married. He had a kid coming on the way, and it's his first one. Roger and JD have a couple, and they've been through that.
Roger has a whole ass basketball team now, doesn't he?
Roger's pretty close. He drives around in a school bus. So,
my guy friend that drives a limo with his kids.
But so the thing was just kind of like we had all just kind of gotten back together with SP and made that album we did, and so the rest of it was kind of like really motivated. We were kind of like, okay, we're kind of back doing the thing. And JD was just chatting like, hey, I got a guy, Cody. He's a good friend of mine, and you all are gonna like him. I want to get him involved in which. Let's just do something kind of fresh that doesn't really keep us in like this little restriction of kind of what SP was and what it did, and maybe some of the reputation it had, good or bad, just allows us to kind of get something new. And we went up and hung out with Cody, and went down and got some burgers and drank some beer. And sometimes things just kind of work out in a way where like the chemistry was already there. So and
you just clicked right off the bat.
Yeah, and there was talks about just making it Society's Plague, but with respect to Joe, it was kind of Joe's baby that he started that, and Joe wasn't like, I'm done forever. It was more of a like, this just isn't going to be a focus of my life for a while, and I'm not really trying to tour, and do stuff. So for anyone that's wondered, it's not, the nail's not in the coffin, but at the same time, it didn't feel fair to Cody and Aaron to go, hey, let's just pull you into this thing that's already existed and all the stuff that comes along with it and all these other songs that you have to learn and don't really have this connection with. Let's just start clean and do something new. So they are intertwined in a lot of ways, but yeah, the Oblivion archetype is kind of that place for stuff that we either didn't make didn't make the right feeling for what SP was doing, or that, you know, may add a technicality that wasn't really in the band's DNA before. Cody brings some different stuff, and the way that he kind of plays with JD is a whole different vibe. So, you know, it's intertwined. You know, people that talk about one typically can hear about the other, but it is different. You know, I think about Slipknot and Stone Sour in that kind of way, where you have some guys that have this chemistry and nucleus, but they're dramatically different bands.
They're completely just two separate entities altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, I will say that the Oblivion archetype, I have referred to it as Society's Plague 2 Electric Boogaloo on one occasion.
Love it.
Yeah,
and just because sequels are usually a little bit better, and a lot of the things with the Oblivion archetype and fucking This Is Now on Record are better. And that's just and that's coming from a guy who has SP lyrics tattooed on his fucking body.
That's true. That's true. The only one to my knowledge. We're trying to get Roger to get some of my words on his ass, but he wouldn't do it.
Like I might end up getting an Oblivion archetype tattoo. I don't know, but if I do get one, and God, I hope Aaron's listening to this, it'll probably be the album art.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll give you this little thing. Based on what the album art that's going to be coming. Wait to see the next one,
because the album art for Ballad of Golden Stone is fucking beautiful.
Oh my God, yes. Can we just take a second to just compliment the hell out of Aaron right now for that artwork?
Totally.
Yes.
That is my favorite piece of art to come out of anything music in a long time. Like, Aaron, you beautiful man, you knocked that out of the park.
You know, and I want to also take a moment to like shout out Aaron specifically for that, because it's really difficult when, you know, that album was a concept album. I had a very set story and image, you know, imagery in mind.
I was just right there.
I had a very set idea of what I wanted it to represent and what I wanted it to be. And that's not an easy thing for someone else to try to gauge and guess and build together. Because, you know, we talk a lot, me and Aaron. We hang out a lot, of course. You know, we're friends. So we're always chatting about what lyric ideas and stuff. But, like, you know, he just got creative with it. And if you want to get some interesting fun facts about that, all that stuff in the background is the mix between Arby's wallpaper and his driveway.
Nice.
That's fucking awesome.
So you know, it's hard to kind of do that stuff, but he really loves doing the graphic design. And, you know, for that was just one of those things that we had this idea and he kind of just nailed it. And if we can get it someday, there's an alternate version. It's just Roger's face fading away, and there's some nice little bubble writing. It's pretty good.
Is that going to be the deluxe reissue of the album?
maybe down the road we'll smash these two EPs together, and we'll just use that one with Roger's face on it.
Nice.
But that is definitely, because I like my album artwork to be fucking simple.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up. If album artwork is too fucking busy, I'm not going to fucking remember it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is a lot of busy album artwork that I do like, I mean, off the top of my head, and just because it's on my wall, like Ingested's Archetype of Extinction album.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on there, but it's like a giant demon with like 9 heads, so I'm fucking about it.
I will say I like it simple just for like test your metal purposes.
Oh, don't worry. That's going to be changing.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
But when it comes to something like that is just, and this is the Kingdom Hearts nerd in me coming out, simple and clean.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And that was the goal. The goal was to get a simple imagery and something that when you listen to the album, if you happen to be glancing at your phone for the splash of that you look at it and go, I can kind of visualize where this is going through what it is. So yeah, I think album art sometimes just gets thrown on there, but you know, it's something that I've always kind of really wanted to. I've always taken it as kind of an extension of the lyrical theme of the album. So for me, it's always been really important that it matches what we're trying to do, because, you know, people, you say don't judge a book by its cover, but we do. We all do. When it's books, specifically albums, you know, if you're walking through a record store just going to pick something up, you know, unless you know the band already, the first idea of what that album is going to sound like is on the front of the cover, you know? So And I'm still kind of, I know I might be old. I know everyone's on Spotify and on different places and stuff, but I'll still go into a CD store sometimes. And
Same here.
Just see what's around, like what's out here. What can I find that, I found a band called Switched, which is back in the nu metal days, a band that I love. And that led to us, doing our Society's Plague album, the Human the Canvas, at the studio at Spider Studios, which Chimera recorded at. And that's the singer of Switched. It's his studio. So, things like that. It's just interesting how you find those little random things. And, they were a great band, by the way, Switched. If you like nu metal, it's super great tone, great sound, great vocals.
That's one I'm gonna have to listen to because I'm a slut for nu metal, my guy.
That was a random CD store find. I was just in there like, I like stuff like this, and one of the guys was like, we got sent this promo thing here, try this out. It had 3 songs that I eventually found online and bought the whole album and loved it.
Well, and that's talking about like judging a book by its cover. One day I was in a Half Price Books because I go CD hunting at Half Price Books all the fucking time. And I was like, I'm just going to blind buy some shit in here. If I see a band I know, I'm not going to fucking buy it. It has to be shit that I've never listened to. So that day I found one that was like a bunch of like druids and cloaks. That was on the album cover. I don't remember what the fucking name of it was. Listen to one song. It was like Tibetan monks chanting. And the thing is, I had to justify my $2 purchase, so I listened to all of it. And I would rank that time about a 5 out of 10. But on that same day, I can't remember the actual name of the album, but it was As Hope Dies. It was their second album. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, this looks like just something straight out of 2009 metalcore, and this is going to be one of the best albums I've ever bought, and it fucking was.
Wow.
Nice.
My thoughts on music in general and finding stuff is that if it can make it to my ears, there's something in there of merit among any genre. Even if I don't like the music per se, or it's not my style, I try to look for whatever it was that got it to where it is to get to me. Because there's some random stuff. I mean, if you're just on, again, your Discover Weeklies and things like that, you find something, it has to be decent in some form. There has to be something love to get there. So I always challenge myself to try to, rather than just go, do I like this? Do I not? That black and white line, to at least listen and go, yeah, I don't like country, but it's a cool melody. The way he mashed the melody with this guitar riff, or the way that he created this feeling where I feel like I'm standing in cow shit. Like, it's like there's something of merit in all of it.
I mean, yeah. I can tell you the country song that does that for me. Thunder Rolls.
Thunder Rolls. Okay.
Listen, I once heard tractors were sexy, so I bought them.
Oh my gosh.
Now you have to figure out if I'm joking, because I live in Kentucky.
See, the thing is, Matt, I don't think you're joking.
What's this face tell you?
It's a 50-50 here.
I mean, for me, it's about a 70-30, and the 70's on the side of this man is not joking at all.
No?
He is from Eastern Kentucky.
But I can tell you, I'm not from Eastern Kentucky.
Where are you from?
I'm from here in Lexington. I was born right here.
That's east of me.
Yeah, no, I was born right here in Lexington, which is weird. Sometimes the accent comes out, sometimes it doesn't. This is my normal voice.
Yeah,
real hot. Sometimes I gotta turn it on, y'all.
I try my best to disguise mine.
Same, but it usually comes out redneck as hell. That doesn't fucking work at all. And B, the only time my accent ever actually goes away is when I'm on stage, and I haven't figured out how that happens yet.
I think that's pretty common, though. People losing their accents, whatever it may be, when they're on stage. I don't know.
Because like the first person who pointed that out to me was Jasmine from Avanti. And I've had like this fucking existential crisis about it ever fucking since.
I was telling you we were a Southern death metal band because of your voice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind being a Southern death metal band at all. Because I mean, really, that Southern drawl just helps with everything I do. So
I'm not gonna lie, I've tried multiple times to start like a Southern hardcore band. I'm a big fan of the Maylene and
Oh, that was me back in high
think it's
school.
fun. Like, give me an excuse to wear a cowboy hat on stage and yell at people for money, man. Like, that's if I can do both, like, I'm here for this mashup. I think me and John Payne were talking about that a couple years ago. We were going to name it Hell's Creek Crossing.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, nah. So
I would listen to that.
I really would listen to that, honestly.
metal with a glass slide.
I would 100% listen to that.
Yeah, because Maylene's awesome, man. I love Maylene.
Been forever since I listened to that band, but they were really good when I did listen to them.
Yeah, I wish a speedy recovery for Dallas. I think he's still dealing with that accident he had a couple years ago. But
oh shit,
yeah, you ran into a sign with a 4-wheeler, and that's not good for your health.
no,
No. I would
No.
definitely aspirin won't help. I don't think.
You need a lot of it.
Maybe some ibuprofen.
Yeah,
You might have to step it up one notch there.
but I'm holding out hope that someday we'll get another Maylene record. I'm hoping. I'm putting all the positive energy out there. That's all I want to happen.
Hey, we got our Ghost Inside album, so there's hope.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you, that was that.
Yep.
I got chills. When I watched the video of that first like
I cried.
show that they did.
Same.
Oh, I
I got actual
tears.
Yeah, I bawled.
Yeah, I've never been so happy because, like, we all know, like we know what it's like to not be able to play for a while or to have something where like it keeps you from being able to do it. And
If you didn't, you definitely do now.
yeah, and so watching those dudes just grind and grind and grind and stay true to what they do and get big, and then have something like that happen. And I remember listening, I forget the vocalist's name, but he was doing a.
Jonathan Vigil.
Yeah, that's it.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I totally blanked out. I was like, oh, it's no.
It just kind of hit me out of nowhere too.
Well, him talking about not wanting to go to shows because all he could think about was how that, he should be on stage and how that's kind of where his heart is. And it just hurts him too much. Like he wants to support his friends, but it's hard to be there. And I've been there, like during that time when kind of SP wasn't doing anything and we thought we were probably done forever. It was that 2014, 2015 times. Like, I didn't want to go to concerts. I didn't want to go to shows because it just hurt to be there because you wanted so badly to be on stage. And then to see him not only be able to keep all the members through that adversity, but get to perform and the energy they brought, like that's a band that will never, ever, ever take for granted the time that they get to be on stage. And and there's not a lot of things that are that pure in terms of like, music, especially with bands that get to that size.
Yeah, a lot of props to Ghost Inside. That was a terrible tragedy what they went through.
I hate that I couldn't go to like their comeback show, but thankfully all of it was put on YouTube. And of course, like they opened with what did they open with that night?
Oh shit,
Avalanche.
Yeah.
They opened with Avalanche and listening to Avalanche. Like I'm sitting here, like just during that first part where it's just Jonathan Vigil yelling, I'm already in fucking tears.
You just get the chills, man. I got the chill now just thinking about it.
Yeah.
and then whenever they played No Mercy, of course, that fucking song, like that's whenever like all of it came out. And I'm sitting here ugly crying, watching this poorly filmed concert, just because like that is always going to be something that if any like musician is out there like struggling thinking that okay, well I don't think I can do this, I don't think I can like pull through like my writer's block or whatever, just look at what these guys had to deal with. Their drummer literally is playing with one leg and you cannot tell the fucking difference.
And I mean it's
amazing.
It's not like they're doing stuff that's relatively, I don't want to say simple because what Def Leppard did was amazing, but like when you're looking at the genre that the Ghost Inside plays, you have to be able to really go hard. And there's a lot of moving pieces in their music. And so that's, that's a huge story for just working through whatever it is, and no one can be on 100% of the time. It's just okay. Allow yourself to be down, to have those vulnerabilities and then but commit yourself to overcome them. And those guys are all the lyrics they've ever written. They lived to the point of getting back on that stage. And that's awesome. It really adds another layer to what they do. You have a different respect for the music they write.
And in just like a strange twist of fate, that whole thing is the reason that I now like Bring Me the Horizon.
like new Bring Me the Horizon?
Yeah.
All right. I'd like for you to elaborate on this a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did not like anything Bring Me the Horizon wrote up until Surfing Turtle, and that's what I call that album. I don't care what its actual name is. I'm going to keep calling it Surfing Turtle. Because I didn't like the deathcore shit they were writing. I just didn't like it.
Fair enough.
It was one of those things that just did not hit my ears right. Listened to a few songs off of Surfing Turtle, and I'm like, well, this is better. And then I saw that they donated $10,000 to the Ghost Inside after that happened. And I'm like, okay, so I know that they're good people. So I feel like I should honestly give some of this shit another chance. So I listened to more stuff off of Sep Eternal, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. Listen to some of the stuff off That's the Spirit. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is actually what I think that these guys were meant to write from the beginning.
Obviously, That's the Spirit, I think, is one of their biggest album, really. I think it just mixes everything well.
Like Ammo or whatever it was that came out like a year or two ago. That one was kind of for me, but then they released like the new EP last year, and that thing fucking slaps.
I am happy that they're finding music that makes them happy. Sep Eternal might be one of the best albums I've ever listened to. I love every song on Sep Eternal. I love the atmosphere. I love what Jordan Fish brought in, like that depth with the electronic side. And really adding to it. And I do think the songs are all really good and all the newer stuff. So I think, it's interesting to see a band that started as like really grindy death metal,
They really were.
I was in high school,
just do this complete 180. And now, like I said, this is the music I feel like they were always meant to write. It just took them a little bit longer to get there than it should have.
Yeah. I'd rather see them write good music that sounds different than, just try to continue writing something that will sell or they think is, what people want from them and not really have anything behind it. It's just kind of that cardboard cutout of the band,
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'd rather a band grow and evolve a way that I don't care for as much than stay stagnant and do something that's just, not really what they're feeling.
Agreed. Better for the band.
See example C, Cannibal Corpse.
But you mean the band that never changes ever?
Past 20 albums.
Yeah, they got a style. They're set in their ways now.
The thing is, like, I dog on Cannibal Corpse a lot, but I respect Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah. I mean, any band that does that, I'm like, all right, guys, you got me. You didn't do strings and A sharp tuning or G sharp tuning. Y'all just did standard. You were like, I don't care what you give me. Give me a Strat. We're gonna shred.
We're just gonna do what we want for the next 30 years.
There you go.
I look at bands like Fit for an Autopsy, and those are the kind of bands that really inspire me a lot too. Because you look at it and you're like, man, brutal, brutal, brutal. And then you start to add in these bluesy, feelsy stuff. And then you get Joe in on vocals and adds this melodic layer vocally without taking the harsh out of it. And it's it's cool to see bands step out of that and add some of what's been really popular with the technical, I guess I don't even know what it's called now, the genre for it. But when you look at bands like Polyphia and Vitalism and Angel Vivaldi, like that really kind of melodic technical stuff, more music writing, and then you add some of that into like the really heavy chops that Fit for an Autopsy has. They really create this atmosphere. And so they grew a different direction that probably isn't what their earliest fans really dig. But in doing that, they just added this whole other layer and depth. They peeled back some stuff to like really create something new and fantastic. And props on their guitar tone, because I live.
They grew in the right direction, because had Joe Bad not joined that band, I probably wouldn't be listening to him now.
Yeah, because the first couple albums were good. They just wasn't anything super. Like it didn't really pull out of, I think, the area of some other bands that were peers, and I think they just kind of were like, cool, let's just throw stuff at the wall and see what happens, and
see what sticks.
Yeah, not a lot of bands can do that when you get to that point of your career. There's expectations, there's an established fan base, so they almost kind of just treated it like they were a starting band where they could just do whatever they wanted.
But then Absolute Hope, Absolute Hell came out, and it's all uphill from there.
It's always uphill from everywhere. I don't think I've ever had any musical project that didn't feel like it was always uphill.
Because they put out Absolute Hope, Absolute Hell, and then it's like, okay, they're not going to top this. And then I can't remember the name of the one that came after that because I'm just blanking right now.
Yeah, I see it in my mind. I can see the album art.
I can see the art, but I can't think of the name. But that one completely outdid that, and it's like, okay, they can't do it again. And then what did they do? They fucking did it again.
It's amazing. Warpath is the song's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that band.
So do I. That band is so fucking good. At this point, we've reached the part in the podcast where we just geek out about bands we like.
Well, with that being said, what inspirations band wise go into y'all's new music? Like who all have you really been listening to that kind of drives you right in a different way?
I'm gonna let Cody go first because I know mine's not gonna.
Everybody's different.
That could be quite the same. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, when I sit down and try to write something, I'm not necessarily going for anything specifically, but if I had to like pick stuff that I guess kind of like subconsciously influences me, I've been vibing on the new Orbit Culture a lot recently. Mm-hmm. That latest album they came out with, it's been beautiful, awesome mesh of super heavy with some beautiful melodic parts, and that's what really gets me. The heavy married with the melodic. I love that stuff.
Usually my favorite stuff too.
Yeah. So that's been kind of an influence, and it kind of comes out in the darker sound because like their latest album, like it's got kind of like a dark sound. So, other than that, man, like I don't really know. I mean, when I put on stuff to listen to, like I'm not really listening to anything.
Whoops.
Yeah, one more time for brevity.
That's what he listens to get ready for the next album.
Yeah. My bad. I
don't really listen to anything like when I listen to music, like throw Spotify on, I'm not looking for anything specifically. I'll just put on like the mix or like the weekly, like, hey, who's the flavor of the week kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nowadays. So that's pretty much how I go about it. And if I hear a really cool riff or I hear a really cool part in any part of any song, like I'll kind of take that into account and be like, that was awesome. That was sick. Might be something to kind of like look into, for a little couple ideas going here. But that's basically as far as I go, as far as like what I listen to nowadays.
I'm glad Aaron's not here because I know his answer would be Hall & Oates and Blink-182. And it's not a joke. That's what the answer would be.
When I'm writing, I don't try to listen to any of the bands I like really like metal wise. I just kind of like dial everything out and maybe listen to pop or something. I don't really care. It's just because if I try to listen to my favorite bands, I'm going to try to sound too much like them without even trying.
Yeah.
You got to clean the palette.
I just find instrumentals and listen to that, and I just try and come up with lyrics to the instrumentals.
Yeah, I think I'm probably pretty similar to that, Steven. Like the way that I write our music, a lot of times I don't give them concepts beforehand. I take the song and I just kind of sit there with my eyes closed or somewhere where it's just I'm alone, and I just kind of put the music in and I just kind of hear what I want to do. It's just kind of like I build an image in my mind and I try to write what I see. So
you go with whatever vibe the song is. Yeah. Pretty much giving you
whatever it inspires me to think about or feel is kind of what comes out in it. So it's always there. But there's a lot of bands that influence me in general as a vocalist, and I think most of them aren't probably metal. I mean, Mastodon being a huge one for me. Like, Mastodon's a big. We just wrote a concept album. So when you look at that, that's a big one. Coheed and Cambria, similar, very very prog and using weird melodies and structures. Mm-hmm. In the metal side, a lot of JT Cavy's vocals really, I love Texas in July. I love August Burns Red. So I look at the structuring that they have and I say, how can I use pieces of this or add some of the things I like to my tool belt? And, at the same time, like you said, Justin, too, you want to cleanse your palate. You don't want to just listen to metal, because it's, at that point, you then just kind of channel what everyone else is doing because that becomes what you think should happen.
And it's
So-
very easy to do if you especially
Yeah,
play that type of music already.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to kind of hear things that you really dig or that resonate with you that maybe you can pull from just to maybe give a different flavor. You know, I mean, I think it's probably no secret that, you know, early Linkin Park stuff's a big influence for me, like the Hybrid Theory and Meteora. I mean,
I definitely can see it.
Good
you know,
stuff.
with my tone of voice, that was always something that people joked around like, "Oh yeah, you sound like Linkin Park." And so for me, that was a
That's not a
compliment.
bad thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, so
Chester
I
was
would
good,
practice
too.
with that. You know, I'd practice those melodies all the time just to see if I could match Chester Bennington, and you know, that's added to some of the melodies that I think up now. Is just thinking like, you know, it's hard to hear how your voice is going to sound until it's recorded. So I think, how would this sound if Chester Bennington sang it? Now, you know, and that sometimes gives me an idea of what it might come out like. So, yeah,
Justin,
Yeah. You hear my
was that
phone?
you?
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
I heard it all the way in here.
Well, we are in the same house, so
I heard it all the way in here.
I heard it all the way in here.
so professional.
I will say this is far more professional than like our last couple of podcasts.
Actually, it is. And I like to apologize last time because I don't know where I was at in this world.
Well, no, I mean, the last one was just fun because it was just us making jokes with Avanti the whole time.
True.
And this one's been a blast just because the Oblivion archetype, and I was goddamn determined to get you guys on something we were doing.
Yeah, you know, we're all hard to get. You can see how practice is why it happens 3 times. Is because different stuff. But Cody's gonna go play guitar after this, and I'm gonna drink a beer and watch sports, and then I'm gonna go and yell in my car on the way home and try to come up with.
There you go.
Vocal
That's the
ideas.
dynamic.
Yeah, safely. 1 beer, small one. Not gonna drive. No, none of that. You got to be responsible.
Matt, we trust you, man. We
Yes,
trust
yeah.
you.
You got to be responsible. I'm too old to be out here doing silly stuff. By the way, if anyone's wondering, I'm 24.
Of course.
That's a fucking lie.
I identify as 24 and 6'4" as well. I'm 6'4". I wear hoodies to hide my muscles.
It's okay. I think half of us are the grandpas in the audience now.
I mean, honestly, I think I'm the only one here who's not 30. So
I'm not 30.
No, I'm not 30.
Oh, really?
How old are
Yeah,
you?
I'm 28.
28. Okay, so you're 1 year older than me, so we're good. Matt, what about
There you
you?
I'm not 30.
Really?
I am 32.
Oh, wait.
I always laugh when people are like, "You don't want to be 30 in a band," and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I really do."
Half my friend bands are like 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, I mean, but also the other half of your friends' bands are the same age, so it's like you realize that once you get in the scene, just do what you love. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Do what you love. People that love it will follow you and be friends with you, and those are the only people that matter. Everyone else
pretty
doesn't care to begin with, so why worry about them?
Yeah, screw it.
As long as you're
go
having
out
fun, just do it.
Yeah, go out, jam out, make friends, like do fun podcasts, like, you know, find fun stuff to do with what you love. It doesn't always have to be playing, but find something to do with what you love, and then it's the way.
It's the way.
That's why I finally pulled the trigger on being on YouTube with Justin.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gives me an excuse to like yell about bands I like in front of a camera for 20 minutes at a time. So,
And we enjoy you doing that, honestly.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
well, I mean, the fucking Left to the Wolves video is probably my favorite video I've done so far.
Mm-hmm.
Just because rewatching my reaction, like I could feel my anticipation waiting for that last breakdown in the song, and goddamn, did they make me wait for that last fucking breakdown.
Left to the Wolves is on it too. I'm so stoked to see those guys doing stuff. I mean, Dan and Andy are such great dudes. You know, I don't know the other guys as well, just from the shows we've played. But man, me and Dan just find a way to run into each other everywhere, and we always just hug it out and have a drink and chill. And it's so nice. And this may resonate with you guys too. But the Lexington music scene wasn't really always that way. You know, for whatever reason, like the early days of my playing in music around here was ultra competitive in a way that didn't really benefit anybody. You know, like why are we why are we competing? We're different bands with different sounds. Like,
man, you would get caught up because it happened to me. You would get caught up in someone else's shit talking without even being involved in it at all. It's like somehow your name would get thrown in there, and then all of a sudden someone doesn't like you for whatever reason.
And you know, I absolutely was involved. Way involved I was one of those guys when I was younger and really didn't get it. You know, it was very much like someone would say something, and I'm like, all right, under oath, let's go. You know, let's get to this show. I'll call you out on stage. But it ends up making you look like a jerk, and it doesn't really make anyone any sense. So it was only for a couple of years, and eventually it gets to a point, you know, when you've played, you guys know because you've played around at different places. It's like the minute you get out of your town and you start playing, it's kind of a fraternity, you know, like we're all in the same boat. We're all like trying to get there. So it's like you want to root for your friends to do good stuff and to be better. And when they're rooting for you, man, is it so much more fun playing music when you go up on the show with your friends and you're like, man, we're just here with all these cool bands. We're yelling at people and each other. People are dancing, doing crazy stuff. And like that, those are the moments like I've played a lot of shows and like I've been very lucky to do so. But the ones I remember the most are the ones I play with all of my friends and like the other bands that I like. And it's like, those are the ones where you're just having fun because you're seeing them being stupid and rocking out or getting Steven up on stage to sing the song, you know, and like that's where you have fun, you know. That's what makes everything worth it. That 30 minutes on stage and then watching your friends get up, you know, after you and then go and just kill it and everyone else dancing and you get to go and vibe out and you know, that's the best part of it all, I think.
Yes.
That's how Cincinnati was for us. And that's why I fucking love the Cincinnati music scene because, like I've said before, they took 5 fucking heathens from Louisville, Kentucky that just played the nastiest, doomiest death metal out there, and we're just like, yeah, you know, you guys can come up here and hang out with us. Fuck it, we're all metalcore, but we really don't give a shit. Come on, we're all gonna have fun anyway.
It's the first word that matters. We're all metal.
There you go.
It's like, just come hang out with us every now and again. Like every time we played we didn't play a bad show in Cincinnati. That's the thing. All of them were fucking great.
Cincinnati, in my entire music career, I've played Cincinnati twice.
Really?
Shit.
Damn. That's like our favorite place.
We played some weird bar where there were like tables and there was like people sitting at the tables and like
Legends?
It was like maybe I think it was Whiskey Jacks or something like that. I don't know. It was a long time ago, and that was weird. And then we played on the Call to the Fall tour. We played some show up there that was pretty fun. That was a cool show. But like, yeah, we just for whatever reason we've never been able to, even though we have friends and bands there, we just never seem to find a day to link up. So maybe I'll be Vontae, if you're watching this, I'm looking at you guys. I'm looking at you.
Hang on. We got this. Matt, do that again real quick.
Vontae, we want to play with you. In Cincinnati, we don't get to do it very often. We'll get you in Chicago.
Hey,
there you go.
Yeah, because those dudes and Chick are awesome. Chicks are awesome. Like they're so much fun to hang out with and play with. And of course, we wouldn't have ever met them if it wasn't for Steven. You know, it was just looking for someone. I think we were doing that show in Louisville.
Well, it was when we set up that show at the art gallery in Louisville, and you guys were like, yeah, dude, just go ahead and throw some bands together. Just make sure that it's like enough people to fill out the night. And I was like, shit, yeah, I can do.
That's something we can do very easily.
And then, of course, like for the CD, you know, the CD opening for that, it was like, man, they're cool. Let's just all jam. Which, man, that's one of my favorite shows too, just because all the different
same here.
Different types of bands that were on it, like. I hate going to the show when it's 4 of the same carbon copy thing. It's like
because you had
the same breakdown all night long.
You had like melodic doom metal opening, which was us. And then you had Avanti, you know, kind of like that Kill Switch Engage metalcore kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And then you had what's basically Behemoth on steroids, so Left to the Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, like, you know, Society's play, you guys headlining the whole night. That night was fucking perfect.
Man, that was the epitome of all of our friends, and friends are playing it and jamming and stuff, you know.
Mike Holliger was like bawling his eyes out at the end of the night for some reason.
Man, just so happy to have all of his friends in one place and getting to chill out. You know, it's the same as like the show we did before at the Burl, where we had like Storm Toker open up, and I think it was Theories of the Apocalypse at the time. It was Theories of the Apocalypse opened that up, and it was like, man, we've been jamming with those dudes for so long. It's just fun to. It's fun to just have the people you enjoy being around together, you know.
All the friend bands.
Yeah, get rid of the drama. I mean, I want to have new bands play shows, and I want to discover new bands and stuff. But you know, you want to have people that are going to bring the vibe. You know, people, fans, and people like that will gravitate to the right energy. If all the bands are vibing out and having a good time, then you're going to notice that everyone else picks up on that energy. You know. If people build little cliques and the bands don't talk and stay off to themselves, like it makes the people that would like those bands do that. So book the right energy and the right energy will find you.
Just come to shows with the same energy I do, because when I go to shows, I'm like a fucking kid in a candy store because I'm just there to have a good fucking time.
Steven, it's not fair for anyone to try to aspire to bring any of the energy that you bring in.
And the thing is, like, Matt can tell you, even whenever I was just a stupid, awkward 17-year-old kid, that's how long this dude's known me. Is that I was always just at shows talking to fucking everybody there.
Yeah, that's how you do it, though. It's how you make friends. How you build yourself into that. And it's again, I love it. Facebook memories did show me the night that I fucking met you guys too. It was like a week ago, like a week and a half ago. It was you guys, Winds of Plague, I think, after the burial, and As I Lay Dying. That was when I met you guys.
That's a fucking awesome lineup right there.
And that show was fucking awesome.
Yeah, sounds like it.
From that show, Johnny Plague from Winds of Plague. I guess they were doing an interview up at the top and we were sound checking, and he came and talked to us after we played and was like, "Oh, you guys are really good. You know, it's cool." I was really nervous because you had Plague in the name, and then I saw a girl on keyboards. And I was like, all right, what's about to happen here? I was like, nah, man. And then he bought a shirt and asked us if we could rip the sleeves off of it. And I'm like, your shirt, man. If you want mustard on it, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. Like $10 though.
It's still gonna cost you, but do with it what you please.
I was like, $10, or I'll trade you for one of your shirts. And he gave us $10. I was like, I know y'all shirts are like $30. And that's why I don't have a Winds of Plague shirt.
and moral of the story is,
dude, we got off tour and played that show like a week later, and it was like we were all so tired and so. And that might have been one of the worst performances I can remember, because we were just like, we didn't practice. We were like, man, we just did like 3 weeks.
It's like we've practiced enough. We'll be fine.
Yeah. No, the lesson is Joe needs more practice always. Because Joe went home and he sat down at the computer. He turned on probably Game of Thrones or something, and then he promptly forgot music. It just went away. That was the end of it. He was like, I'm not even going to think about a guitar. I don't even think he looked at a guitar.
Fuck it.
He's like, I've seen a lot of guitars in 3 weeks. I'm good.
I'll just run through everything before we play that show. It'll be fine.
I was like, what's pitch? I don't need that. I'm just going to scream the singing parts.
Oh my God.
Which, again, it was pretty cool seeing you guys play in that same building opening for Trivium, too. That was really fucking rad.
That was wild. That was a wild one. You know, I've got a bucket list of bands I want to see live and play with, and I skipped Trivium the first time I got to see them live because I was so mad about Shogun. I know this is my unpopular opinion. Here's where you guys get the hate. I'm sorry.
Okay, hang on one second. Okay, now that he's gone,
I liked From Embers to Inferno. I liked Ascendancy a lot, and then I just wasn't about the Metallica vibe. But it grew on me later. But yeah,
I'm still not about the Metallica vibe.
You know,
wait, are you talking about are you talking about Shogun or the Crusade?
Yes,
because Crusade had the Metallica vibe.
Yeah, the Crusade was the one that kind of fell off. Shogun I didn't care as much for, but I still liked some songs. I came back around for the last few albums because I think they've been more balanced in between and really bringing in all of what they do. But
yeah, I agree.
Their live shows have been really good too. The past
Yeah.
couple albums.
Also, I wouldn't have remembered the first show I saw them live at anyway, because I went and saw them. It was Valentine's Day, some kind of 12 years ago. And
Valentine's Day 2014 with Slipknot and Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah. I was at that one.
That was it. That was the one. Yeah, because I was like,
I was there too.
What? Coheed? And then I show up and right after Trivium played, and Coheed blew my mind. I was like, all right, I'm a Coheed fan, and I've seen them probably more than the other band now at this point live. I think I've seen them 4 or 5 times.
They were so out of place that night, but they fit in so well. But then, of course,
so much energy.
After Coheed played, that's where I became completely fucking unhinged, because that's when fucking Slipknot played.
Oh yeah, yeah, man.
And that was a good show too. That was a good time. That's the only good show I've ever seen at Rupp Arena. I don't think I've ever been. I don't think I missed 9 Inch Nails and some of the other ones, and but I'm so glad we have Manchester here now, just with the bands they're bringing in and the opportunities they're bringing.
Oh yeah,
for that, like,
it's pretty nice.
I think Storm Toker got to open for Atreyu, right? Like,
yep.
What a rad show to get to open and get to hang out with people.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's so many opportunities to get into people's ears that just won't go to a local show, but they'll travel to go to a show like that, And I hope that,
get on our level, motherfuckers. I go out of my way to see bands all the fucking time.
Steven, I was having this conversation with Kaitlin yesterday as we were in Knoxville. I was like, man, I drove 4 hours to see fucking Whitechapel and then drove back and went to work the next morning.
Yeah, like me and him both drove to Knoxville and back in one day to see Whitechapel play in their hometown.
It was a pretty good show.
That show was fucking wild, and especially I was having like some fucking female trouble like right before that show as I was driving down there.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So I was in just prime condition to enjoy that fucking show. Like, I was all the way ready. I can't remember it was like Vice or Exciser. Like right before they played that, I'm like, Justin, you better get 10 feet away from me, dude, because it's about to happen.
How about Santa Claus moshing?
Oh yeah, Santa Claus was moshing at that show too.
Nice. Classic.
It's my turn to interview everyone now. It's my turn. Here we go. What is the favorite show you've ever been to, the most memorable show, like the one that when you think like this was something different?
Matt's gonna look at me cross for this one too.
You're gonna look at me more cross for mine, trust me.
Okay, so Justin, you go first, man.
All right, I must say last year probably was my favorite time seeing Periphery live. Something about the energy was different. It was Valentine's Day. I was with Kaitlin. It was a few months before we got married.
Adorable.
I cried to Loon because that's our song we got married to. So yeah. So I'm very
adorable,
emotional in that one.
Such a good band live too. I think I saw them a couple years ago.
They are the band I've seen most live besides Chevelle. I think they're both tied for 7.
Man, the Misha Mansour. I've never seen Chevelle live. I like Chevelle live.
Chevelle's really good live.
Chevelle is good.
He's got a cool. They just write cool stuff. Cool band. They're weird.
Yeah.
All right. So it's time for Matt to look at me fucking weird. Okay, so the most memorable show I've been to is when I saw Nightwish at it was in Covington at Madison Music Hall or whatever it is. Like, that is probably my most memorable show because I was like 6 feet away from the stage. It was for their Decades tour, so they were playing all kinds of old shit. Like, they played a song that they haven't played since 1997. I've got a set list on my wall from that show.
That's awesome.
And they closed with my favorite song, which is Ghost Love Score. And the thing is, like, Tarja was awesome when she sang that song. Of course, Annette was not, because they couldn't play that song with Annette because she didn't have the vocals for it. But hearing Floor Jansen sing that song and the way that she just kind of accents that ending and just lets everything out for that last note of the night, just kind of just like lets that primal part of herself out and just yells that last note. I'm standing there in the fucking crowd, just tears pouring down my face while this is happening, feeling awkward as fuck because I'm crying at a concert. but then looking around me and seeing that there's like a shit ton of other people crying too. And it's because Nightwish is one of my favorite bands. So being able to experience that with other people was cool. But I do have a runner-up too, and it's when I saw him on their farewell tour.
Ooh.
And so the thing is, so my tattoo artist, she's pretty much my best friend too. She had tickets to go see him. Some things happened that it's not exactly my place to talk about, and she had a spare ticket. And she said, "Hey man, I know this is short notice, but can you get off work and take me to this?" And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, the hospital will basically let me do whatever I want at this point, because what are they going to do? Fucking fire me? So I took off, drove down there. And of course, at the time, like, I'd listened to their music, but I wasn't exactly what you would call a fan. But like being at that show, and of course, like Three Teeth opened, and that was interesting as fuck. That's all I can really say about that. It was good, but God, was it interesting. Blink 182 was largely okay, but it was like halfway through him's set, and I just look around me in this sold out venue with like 3,500 or 4,000 people in it, and just seeing all of these people feeling all of these different emotions all at once for this one band that affected them. And, you know, there was like, people have their, you know, perceptions of him and say, okay, only young women like them because Vilvallo. The dude standing in front of me was 7 feet tall with a tattoo on the back of his head. So if that says anything, and just like all these people, like either like happy they're getting to see this or sad that this is the last time they get to see their favorite band. Mm-hmm. Getting to see all of that in one place made me want to be a better musician, because of how much this one band affected 4,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the power behind it, though. That's when you know, like, you're in the same place with people that really identify with music the same way you do. Like, not everyone gets that. Like, you know, music's made for different purposes. That's why there's jingles for, you know, advertisements. That's why there's, you know, music for dancing to in the club. That's why there's just different things. It's not always kind of that, but you can see the people that have, like, I think that have experienced love, heartbreak, pain, loss, gain, success. And when you can go into a place and when you can feel those things again through something that someone else creates, you know, it's powerful. And I think that's something that just speaks to the connection you have with the music. And I've cried at a show, and that's actually going to be the one when we get to me, but I'm not next. I think Caitlin's next.
Yeah, Caitlin's next up.
Well, I want to say Periphery, but he already said Periphery.
We're married.
You can double dip. It's okay.
Well, But honestly, though, the most memorable show is probably the last show I played on March 12th of last year. It was at Diamonds, and we opened for August Burns Red.
And it was fucking lit, too.
That was a badass show.
That was some next level shit. Like, because whenever I watch a band, I see, you know, their talent live, you know, and also what they bring to the stage, as in, you know, theatrics or lights, pyro, whatever. And for them, they have it ironed out completely, and it was absolutely flawless. So.
And plus, the vocalist went like twice as hard as he normally does, because he knew it was the last show of the tour.
Yeah, it was the last show of the tour, because they decided that day that they were going to postpone the rest of the tour because of COVID, and they went hard.
And they played for like 2 hours.
Yeah, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that.
Awesome.
If you had a favorite song with them, they probably played it.
Yeah, like, well, when they finally got to Whitewashed, like the whole set was great. August Burns Red doesn't have a bad song, but like Whitewashed is kind of my go-to a lot of the time. So when they got to that, I was prime and ready to just kind of kick somebody, but my legs don't go that high. So getting a good old mosh in, getting to come out of mosh retirement one time before COVID ended, that it felt nice.
Leave it all out there.
All right, so Matt, I do believe you're next, bud.
All right, I've got my main, and I got a runner up too. So, probably my favorite show that I've ever seen, and the one that I went back and saw him again like the same year. It's Ghost.
They're actually surprisingly good live.
Dude, it was such a one. We saw them in an opera house. Like, it was just
that. Oh, that's so fitting.
There was no opener. It was them for 2.5 hours, and it was in an opera house, and it was on the cycle for right when right before
They got big.
no, it was the album with Rats and Faith and
Okay.
Bob. I don't know why it skipped my mind right now, but
Is it prequel or prequel or something like that? There's like a certain way of pronouncing it.
Yeah, prequel. That was the one, and I was more like I'd been listening to him for like a year or two, and I was really stoked about it, and I got to go with some people I don't get to go to concerts with, and there's someone from we saw him in Cincinnati, and we got some of the best barbecue I've ever had, and we went to Hofbräu House and downed a couple liters, and then we walked over to walked across the bridge, walked over to the Taft Opera House, and man, that was wild. And then I saw him again at the Mercury Ballroom with all the Gothic statues, a little while later with Aaron, and he had the same experience, I did the first time I saw him. It was just the musicianship, how incredibly talented and tight they are, but how well he plays up the opera and the show up. And it's like sometimes you with metal and stuff, it's a performance. You're watching someone just rock out and bring energy, but it's a different thing to watch a show where this is a performance. It's almost like a play that's musical or something. And that was really cool. And he was really funny, just such a great front man. Tobias is such a great front man on stage, At one point he walks out and he bows and people are clapping and he looks up, he's like, no. Well, we will try again. We will try again. And then he walks away. He walks behind the stage, and you can still see him there, peeking outside. And light comes over to him, and he comes out while he's peeking. And he jumps out, and he's like, and everyone's like, yeah. There's glitter everywhere, and it's just such a good time. But probably the most memorable concert I've ever been to. So. And probably the most influential band to me liking heavy music was Korn. It was a band that when I was really young, my brother had, Korn and Stain and Mudvayne albums. And so, I was listening to Life is Peachy when I was 8, 9, I was hearing crazy stuff. And so for me, I finally got to the point where I was maybe 17, 16. They played Family Values in Louisville at Riverfront, Cincinnati. And I got to go and see them, and man, I got to see Flyleaf and Darren Gray and Deftones, and I was already just ecstatic. It was just one of the first big concerts I had gone to.
That's a fucking lineup.
And man, when Korn came on and they started playing, it was just these guys that I had if anyone remembers Circus Magazine and all that stuff, I had the pullouts on my wall. I had Korn lyrics on my binder when I was edgy and in middle school. I had all this stuff. And so I got to they were in person. They were in front of me just a little ways away. And they were, going hard. And that was right when Brian Welch quit. So that part, I want to see them again with Brian Welch just to say I did. I got to see David. So, I got to see mostly the original lineup. And man, that was just one of those times where I cried. It was just I'm here. I'm seeing these idols of mine performing in front of all these people. It doesn't mean this much to everyone, but it was such a powerful moment to be okay, I'm one step closer to what I want to do, and I think that's also kind of the turning point of me really going hard to go, I want to be a vocalist. I want to join a band, and all my friends making fun of me saying, you're going to sound like Kitty. A real scrawny short kid, at 17, couldn't grow a beard. So that one really got me. But I'm gonna throw just an honorable mention. Is that okay? Can I throw an honorable mention?
Sure, go for it.
By all means.
Backstreet Boys.
Hey, I'm a big fan.
Never really wanted to go, didn't want to go. My mom took me, because my cousins and stuff were going, and that was the first concert I'd ever gone to, and that was the Millennium Tour.
Oh shit.
And these dudes came out on surfboards flying through the air. They were spinning, rappelling down from the stage on lit up surfboards. And I remember just being how many people are here? They do this all the time?
I vaguely remember seeing it a behind the scenes thing where they were doing prep for their concerts and stuff. I know what you're talking about.
Gosh, man, that was the first concert I ever saw. So for me, that was like, people
Pretty
can
lit,
do
actually.
this. Like, this is a thing that people can do. Like, you can, like, is this their job? It's like,
They make money to do
did they
this.
just do this tonight? Like, are they just here for tonight? And I remember just like, looking at things, being like, they're going where tomorrow? They got like 2 more months. I want to do this for months at a time. And man, childish ignorance, right? But like, yeah. This is always a fun. I love this question, but I want to hear Cody's. I'm really curious about Cody here.
You know what? Kill Switch Engage.
Yeah.
Right at like the peak of their like fame, I guess you could say. So like we're talking like As Daylight Dies.
Yeah.
My Curse era, and dude, incredible. You go up there and Howard's doing his thing, and then Adam comes out with the booty shorts and the cape on, like.
Oh yeah.
It was a great show. Wild. They interacted so well with the crowd, man. Like it was just a treat to watch them play.
Howard's
I saw
just a
them
treat to
live
watch.
around that era too. That was one hell of a show.
I didn't see Kill Switch for the first time until 2009.
I still have yet to see them, sadly.
That's probably, I think 2012 was the first time I saw them. Is because we got to do that Music as a Weapon thing where we were on the second stage, and which, by the way, meeting Johnny Santos from Spineshank was like, that's a moment that's up there for me. I remember being like, hey dude. Hi.
Yeah, I think I saw them
Hey, man.
back in 2007.
Here's a fun story about that show though. Really awkward, by the way. So we got to play with Unearthed with Society's Play like forever ago at Headliners, and we were opening, and we said, hey, do we have time for one more song? And the sound guy said, yeah, you got time for one more song. And we thought so we have plenty of time. Well, we were wrong, and we played Forged by Fury, and if anyone remembers that song, it's about 8. And afterward, they were just mad. And the tour manager on that tour was the bassist for Bury Your Dead. And Bury Your Dead was the band that played after us on that Music as a Weapon second stage thing.
Man.
And he didn't remember us, thankfully. It was like 2 years before. But I remember him being like, yeah, you guys did good. Yeah, it was good. It was good show, guys. Good show. And I was like, because he threatened to break our drums and up. And this is memorable because I remember Joe, and I hope anyone that listens to this knows who Joe is, because it's funnier when you know Joe. But he goes, this guy's in our face, getting motherfucker, his assholes, we have a show to run, blah 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 blah. I'll break your drum sets, blah blah blah. And he's like, you're lucky I don't get ready to fight you right now. And he got up in JD's face, and Joe steps up Joe. He goes, I will call the authorities. That was the part in which he just looks at Joe because he's and we're like, he'll do it. And he's got a phone. He pulls it out, it's over with. The police are gonna show up. And so he was nice to us after that, and we just didn't bring it up.
we just never talked about it again.
But Killswitch played that. That was the Daylight Dies era, and man, that was such a killer show. Howard's just another one of those guys that's just such a powerful vocalist.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't listened to the new thing he did with Jared Dines, you need to check that out.
Let's check it out. You ever check out another band, Light the Torch?
Which one?
Light the Torch is
no. It's him and Jared Dines. It's called Scion, S-I-O-N.
Oh, I mean, have you heard his other
band?
Yeah.
I listened to Light the Torch. I liked it a lot more than
the name it was prior.
I keep wanting to say 3 Inches of Blood. I don't know if it was 3 Inches of Blood or something else. But
3 Inches of Blood was his band before Killswitch. Yeah,
before Killswitch. I liked it better than 3 Inches of Blood. But Light the Torch just kind of sound like Demon Hunter to me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like old Demon Hunter 2. The Triptych was a cool album.
Demon Hunter is one of those bands where, I can appreciate the old stuff, but anytime I try to listen to something newer, I just kind of zone out about halfway through it.
Yeah. They're an interesting band because I didn't realize that the singer for that band, he's I guess he's in one of the talent scouts, or he works for Solid State. And like Demon Hunter is just kind of a side fun thing that they do every so often, which is why you don't see them just touring constantly. They just get together, put out an album, do a tour, and then go on and do other stuff for like 2 years.
Must be nice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I would like to do things a Demon Hunter way.
I'd love to discover bands work for a label and, you know, just give people an opportunity and really be a label for bands. You know, like I'll give a shout out to, you know, like Eclipse Records and stuff, because they're really about that. Just let's just give a lot of bands opportunities and see who sticks and what comes out. And, you know, like I said, that there's a few labels that really do that really well, and they really go all out for their artists. And it's always good to see, you know, because there's a business you have to run. Like it's not fairy tales. We all know that. Like, you know, you guys all know that. It's
Yeah.
You know, work. You got to make money. You know, if those people are investing in a product, and that product has to sell. But there are certain places in which they kind of understand that it's going to be built. It's not something they're in it with you, and that's always rare. And you know, so it'd be fun to be on that side of things and get to be the guy that's like, hey, let's get you guys, you know, up in front of people. Let's get you moving around. Let's give you some advice and some insight.
So we're going to give you a good swift kick in the pants to help you out.
Here's your first tour. It's 6 months. Go.
Have fun.
Here's $50.
There's the starting line.
Yeah, we're Sumerian Records. Yeah, which Sumerian would be fun. They just tour constantly. That'd be a good label.
So I want to be with at one point, but
That'd
not
be a
anymore.
good time.
I think I lean more towards the Nuclear Blast side of things.
I think
Same. Yeah.
Nuclear Blast would be a great one too. There's a lot of them that are good though. I miss Ferret music. I always wanted to be on Ferret.
Every time.
Just don't go for the one that starts with a V or any of its sub labels.
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I would look. I don't know if I can. Justin, can I legally say his name?
Go ahead and say it. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, yeah, fuck Greg Long.
Yeah.
That dude still owns like the rights to all of Sworn In's early stuff. He owns the rights to so many different bands' early shit, and it makes me fucking mad that he's still allowed to like run a record label.
Yep.
Because he has fucked over so many good bands. Like he has fucked bands out of like their early career, so much so to the point that they had to start from scratch.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Day to Remember had a big struggle with that, didn't they?
They actually wanted to.
Yeah.
They won it after years and then put out a really good album and then made the really weird business decision to put out an album with 14 songs and only 2 of them are good.
I love that status you posted.
That
about
actually was
that.
my third status about that.
And
I like more than Aaron did, and even
My-
more than JD did.
my buddy,
Oh, God.
another friend of mine, Justin Ellswick, made the best point about that album. He said if you listen to it from start to finish, it is a wild fever dream.
I gave
That-
each song 30 seconds.
And
Can
that
we
like
talk
that.
about the troll of making that album and calling it Your Welcome?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, no, I noticed that too, and it made me really mad. But then I listened to Last Chance to Dance, and I was like, okay, you know what? Thank you for this one song.
Hey, the next album, the first single is going to be super, 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 super heavy, and everything
Oh,
you've
you
ever
know
wanted,
it.
and the rest of it's going to sound like You're Welcome.
Because I don't
Absolutely.
don't get why they could pull Resentment and Last Chance to Dance out, and then for some reason they put like 3 country songs on the album.
There you go.
They
You know-
put an R&B song on it for some reason.
John had a really good take on it because John listens to a lot of different stuff, you know, electropop, metal. And you know, for anyone that doesn't know John, you know, John works really closely with the Oblivion Archetype and Society's Plague, and you know, really good musician. And he looked at it and was like, "This is a chance for Jeremy to really just kind of show his chops off." And I think when you see bands like Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy and, you know, Bring Me the Horizon kind of step out onto that ledge and go, yeah, we're gonna try our hand at making some music that's just accessible to people to bring them in, you know, because we still have this catalog of albums and songs that we can still play and throw back to. But you know, there is a different level to his vocal ability on that album. Like he's really doing stuff that isn't the standard kind of pop punk vocals and then hardcore vocals. Like he's really getting pop vocals, and that shows off a certain level of musicianship that's really impressive and was probably hard to write around because, you know, you're not the kind of music that all of us play a lot of times. The vocals are kind of just the mint on the pillow, if you will. It's not the mattress or the bed frame or the pillows or any of that. It's just kind of the final touch. So when you're writing something where the vocals are really going to be the forefront, a lot of the music
it's the cilantro pretty much.
Yeah. Like no one comes to a metal show and goes, man, I can't wait to see the vocalist, with the exception of a few bands and not counting the all of the 80s. Like when you
we're not going to include Synapse or the Oblivion Archetype in this. Those two are kind of pushed to the side.
I've never heard anyone go, man, have you heard the vocalists from the Oblivion Archetype and how good they are? It's always like, man, their drummers tall. Their guitarists are good. That was on key.
That was on key. All that matters.
Everyone wants to talk to the singer and the drummer because we're the ones that like everyone likes the drummer for whatever reason. And I know why the girls like the drummer. Y'all, all the girls. I know why you like the drummer. You know he got rhythm, and you know what that means. But like, for the singer, everyone just because you're thinking about it now. Everyone likes the drummer.
Steven, we should go with my drummer here. Why everybody likes him is because he impales everybody.
Well, I mean, the running joke about Arab Machine's drummer Dan is that he has a massive penis.
Yeah. I mean, what I'll say is you can kill someone with a dagger. It doesn't really. You don't need a claymore. If anything, it's just harder to swing.
Like we're convinced that this man like has 3 pedals on his bass drum.
Oh shit!
And I don't remember how that joke got started. I can't even fucking remember how it did. But
I just called it a joke.
It's still just running to this day that it still runs to this day that Dan just has a massive dick.
Hey, let me. You know what? One of the things I'm the most proud of on this topic. No, you're all wondering where this is going to go, but out of all the years of touring and traveling and everything, I've not seen any dongers of anyone I've been in a band with.
That's good information to know.
I've never seen anyone's dong. I've managed to avoid it. There's a couple great stories where accidents have happened with Mike and Joe and other things like that. But nope, I've managed to avoid all the dongers.
Okay, so no, what was it for about? I think it was like for 3 years straight on New Year's Day. It would be like JD, Mike, and Joe would post a picture of them in fucking banana hammocks, and it would always fuck my night up.
Yeah,
as soon as I saw it.
Yeah, I was there. I saw it with my eyes. The second time. The story of that was just a show in Miami, Florida. They let us in Miami, Florida. I don't know why, but we managed to get this hotel on the beach, and we had a good old time. It was a day off, and so one of the guys that was traveling with us that was helping us out, Ian, he ran into one of the swim shops on the strip and found all these Speedos, and he was like, "I'll buy them for everyone if everyone will wear them on the beach." And of course, look, I know that I have a ton of muscles and I have very, a very attractive physique. Many have compared me to Chris Hemsworth and things like that. But I was also a little self-conscious to be out in a Speedo anywhere near Roger. So I opted out of that when I went down and just walked around downtown. But there's a video on the internet of all of them on South Beach, Miami, like the South Beach, running into the ocean, and at one point on a raft, an inflatable raft in the ocean. We almost had to call a Coast Guard to get them back in banana hammocks. And so I guess for whatever reason, Mike was about this too. Mike wore it the rest of the tour. Like we almost got shot in Oklahoma. Like it was, no, I'm sorry, Nebraska. Mike gets out of the truck stop with an American flag Speedo on before he puts his pants, shoes, shirt on. And like, there was some looks like,
what the hell?
You disrespecting the flag, son? I'm like, nah, man. He just got his balls on it.
Me and my cousin daughter don't appreciate that.
It reminds me of that video. The guy's rolling around. He's like, "My sister's pregnant." And everyone cheers. And he goes, "I'm gonna be a dad." Everyone's like, "Whoa!"
That took a left turn.
Oh, there.
Sounds like the part of.
I love how it took an hour and a half into this podcast for Kaitlin to be just done with my bullshit. This is a new record.
I mean, It was reminiscent of this rest stop that me and Justin went to the other day.
Oh God, I forgot all about him.
Oh God, like you look up textbook, like the last 30 seconds of this conversation, and there was a family. Oh Lord, this kid had a mullet, and it was just mean. Like, we're not even talking like
Just mean.
Like it was like the bowl cut all the way past the ears, man.
Yeah.
Okay, like cowboy boots. I don't think the dad had any teeth left at that point. Mom was just Lord.
Man,
God,
this man knows his way around a speedway, not just the gas station.
Yeah,
Hey.
like the whole family does.
Sorry, I hate to cut myself short real quick, but my phone's on 1%, and I want to just cut out of nowhere. So
Got you.
We got you, buddy.
We also probably should be heading off.
Thank you
here
guys.
soon.
It's been fun. It's great talking with you guys.
You too,
Good.
man.
Bye, Cody.
Hey, man.
Hopefully,
Catch you later, buddy.
We'll see
See you later.
later.
On that note,
Yeah, I'm bigger now. This is better.
Okay, so yes, we have run over, but if you guys would like to continue, we can.
we can go about 5 more minutes or so. I mean,
I think 5 minutes sounds great.
yeah. I mean,
I got sports ball, guys.
I gotta get ready for work tomorrow. It's gonna be
We
early
still gotta
day.
eat dinner.
And
Trash talk on the line here.
I'm sick and on vacation, which are two things that don't go together.
And it sucks when you gotta do that.
Well, I'm probably going to stream for a little bit tonight too. So,
Well, say it sounds like a shitty time.
yeah, dude, it really has been. Like I was telling them about it before we started. When I say that I slept all day yesterday, I was asleep all day yesterday. I was awake for maybe 3 hours.
Bruh, Pedialyte, chug it. Pedialyte fixes everything. Pedialyte.
Yeah, I'm going to get some of that. They gave me a shit ton of not a shit ton, but I say that, but the pills are like that fucking big of antibiotics to give me. And they're like, yeah, take fucking all of them. And
the worst part is they're not the kind you take orally.
It's a good thing I have lube in my house. So,
man, I thought you were metal. You spit on it.
I do that. I do that too. So if I never feel, if I just I look over and it's yeah, it's 4 feet away, but I don't want to go actually pick it up. Then I'll just all right, here we go. All right,
we're going
get to work.
Oh God.
On that note,
I love
Stephen
it.
Jeffries, everybody.
Yep, that's me. For some reason, Justin decided to bring someone like me onto his YouTube channel. A fucking living, breathing demonetization factory over here.
I'll be so Mel. You are one of my best friends, and everybody loves you. So you gotta have you.
That's, I guess that's the joy of it took years to fucking cultivate because, like I said, Matt can tell you, I'm still kind of awkward, but I used to be awkward as shit.
Yeah, eventually. When you're around the right people, when you surround yourself with the right people, they encourage you to do more than you think you can do. And, again, me and John had a great conversation last night about the imposter syndrome, where you're just do I belong here? Am I good enough? Does he don't even care about what I'm trying to do? Is it, am I worth it? And it's if you don't have the imposter syndrome, you're probably not doing a good job or not a good job. So, that's what keeps you humble, I think. Not that I would ever accuse you of being humble, but you might be one of the most humble people I know.
This and everyone knows this. A lot of times whenever I'm on here doing this sort of thing, especially with Test Your Metal,
yeah,
it's just my personality cranked up to 17.
Yeah,
I try my best to be eccentric and over the top, and yeah, I'm breaking the fourth wall and all that bullshit, but everyone knows me anyway, so who fucking cares?
Yeah.
But anyone who, if anyone new were to stumble across this channel and think, wow, this guy's a dick, it's I'm not really a dick. It's just me. That's the reason that a lot of the people we have on Test Your Metal are people that we already know. So that I can just sit there and fuck with everybody the whole time.
Plus, we like to promote all of our friends' bands as much as we possibly can.
I think it's part of just giving back to the same scene that gave so much to all of us. There's going to be young up and comers that just need some type of platform, and you just need a chance and give them that chance and see what can happen. again, believing in somebody else goes a long way. Whether it's a podcast, whether it's a band or graphic design or whatever it is, put more positivity out there, man, because the world needs it. There's not very many people out there rooting for you. There's more people rooting against you than rooting for you.
Definitely.
And that's why I'll always give it up. And if David Langley is watching or listening to this, I'll always give it up to him because he gave Synapse our first show.
Yep.
It was us, High Mass, and Theories of the Apocalypse. And we were dog shit when we played that show, and I will not accept anything otherwise because we really were. It was horrid.
There's no such thing as a good first show.
Yeah.
But then
like
hello. Who's
okay, you know what? That's terrifying, but I'm going to ignore it for now, and hopefully it's not a ghost.
What's that behind you, Steven?
Okay, hang on. It's my Google fucking home. Hold on.
Well,
on that note, we'll mute Steven and just going to let you say what you want, Matt, about your band and where to find you and all this stuff.
Yeah, so the Oblivion Archetype. Yeah, you definitely check it out. We're having a lot of fun writing fast, heavy metal. We just put a song, A Slow Burn, out, and it's on all streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, whatever the Russian one is. It's on all that stuff too. So yeah, give it a listen. You can find us on all the social media stuff and come chat with us. We're really, really foolish people, as you hopefully learned today. So keep supporting the podcast here, keep finding new bands, and every time you find something you like, share it with someone else. You never know what they're going to love, and you might just make the difference in someone's life, for the musician or for the person you share them with.
Oh yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well,
and just so I can give it to Matt and everybody else in the Oblivion Archetype, I'm going to give like a 30-second review of Ballad of Golden Stone really quick. Okay. So if you are a fan of Soil Work, Dark Tranquility, Still Remains, probably like that more recent Trivium, like Sin in the Sentence era Trivium, definitely for you. It's very Melodeath, and that's the shit that I'm all the way about. If you like guitar melodies, fucking here for it. If you like some nasty yells and some good cleans, you got to be here for it. If you like blast beats, you got to be here for it. If you like a thick bass tone, you got to be here for it. Listen to the Oblivion Archetype, A Ballad of Golden Stone, and A Slow Burn, available now on whatever streaming platform you desire.
all right. Well, thank you all for this. My name's Justin. This is Steve, Kaitlin, and Matt. Thank you all for watching.